I guess a business coach deals with a lot more of the emotional side of business. When they deal with a client, they care about the interest of the individual, they care about their well-being as well as their emotional side of things. What I do generally is work with the individual based on their business performance and based on what they do in their business. I would often go in and basically do a personal evaluation to work out exactly how they operate their business, to work out exactly where their strength lies within their business, and to see whether they're actually working within their strength in their business. And then what I often do after that is evaluate the business itself to work out exactly what process is working and which process is not working. And then once we map those two, we can then basically bring the two together and work out exactly where they're going wrong, how they're going wrong, and basically put forward a plan to improve that business. Anyone that is in business who's looking to expand, looking to grow, or looking to succeed, I believe that there should be a strong plan every 12 months to ensure that every 3 months we can evaluate exactly where things is at, whether it's working, whether it's not, and then make adjustments. Because that way, at least you know where your business is going. You can track exactly what you're turning over, whether you're within budget or whether you're out of cost. It's just those little things that I guess as a business owner, when they're thinking about the overall picture, would fail to understand or would fail to look at. Because most business owners, if the business is turning over, they think that the business is making money, so therefore they sort of pull back rather than actually manage it tight. They would pull back because they can see customers coming through, they can see that the till is turning over, they can see that they're making money, so therefore they're more inclined to just say, oh yeah, the business is doing well, I can just rest and watch it run itself. My background's in vocational education and training and compliance. I guess after doing that for 15 years, I got to work with a lot of, big companies, big private companies that used to have massive turnovers. And I guess what I wanted to do with Bespoke Consultancy is to utilize those stringent process and compliance and implement that into a business. Because I guess in a business, once you've got that formula that you can follow day to day without a fail, you're more likely to succeed, because obviously it's just a matter of implementing a checklist and a set of measure on a day-to-day basis. And once you identify that in your business, you can then come to work and follow that on a day-to-day basis. Follow the same procedures, follow the same process, so that therefore you're less likely to make mistakes, or you're less likely to neglect certain things that you're not good at. And the whole idea of basically getting into systems and processes is that once you've got that in place, then you can train people to follow the same process. You can train your staff, and therefore at least you've got a checklist so that it leaves a lot less room for errors and make mistakes as well. As you know, small mistakes in business can be costly. So therefore we make sure that all my clients that I work with, we have those same stringent process, so that therefore they can follow that and hopefully succeed. Someone last week, right? This is a person that basically had a successful business for about a decade. And I guess once you've been successful for that long, you tend to sort of pull away from the business and put staff on and kind of neglect the business. And then it only takes a couple of unhappy major clients to basically put your business under. And I guess, when you neglect your business and then all of a sudden you come across a client that is very, very unhappy in terms of the service that you provided, right? So then the client, the business owner wouldn't know in terms of how to deal with that. There's the legal implication, there's all those sort of things that they got to deal with, as well as the emotional baggage that it comes with. I guess what I would advise is that if you got a thriving business, if it's successful, don't neglect it. You got to keep your hands at its throat, so that therefore you're always moving forward. When I first started in business, I thought I was great at what I did. right? I thought I was great at what I did and people would generally gravitate to that. But one thing I've learned very fast is that it doesn't matter how good you are in what you do, that just becomes a very small aspect in business. So if you're a manager, you're a great manager. That's what you stick to. Don't try to do everything else. Don't try to do accounting if you're not good at numbers. Don't try to do things that is not within your strength. Business owner, they think they're saving money, they think they're cutting costs, so they try to do too many things. And what they fail to realize, the reason being why you have people in certain position in their business is that that's what they're good at. There's not one person that's good at everything. So therefore you stick within your strength and work within your business utilizing those strengths, and let others who are good in what they do work that side of the business. And I guess what I would advise is that you really need to develop a solid business plan. You need to be able to basically identify exactly what it is that you're selling or what service it is that you're providing, what you need to actually get that product or service into the market, and how to market and sell it, and also identifying your market share. And I guess the third part of that would be risk assessment. You need to be able to evaluate every risk for you to basically start your own business. And I think, look, in any business, it's got to come from a great idea. And generally that idea is something that you're passionate about and something that you're good at, or something that you've developed as a business owner, right? So generally you've got the passion there. But I think what people fail to understand, or where the disconnection becomes, is that you've got this great idea, but how do you get it to the market? Or how do I find my target client? Or what do I need to do before I, obviously start my business? Something that, I always try to implement is having a great network of people around you, because there's a lot of competitors out there, and there's also a lot of people out there that would take your ideas and not really have any positive input that they give to you. So what you want to do, surround yourself with the right people, by good people that can assist you grow, and that can give you basically the right advice, and that obviously is not going to sugarcoat anything that they tell you. Because what you need to be able to do is for someone to give you an objective reflection in terms of where you're at, what you're doing, and how your business is performing. And there's nothing worse than somebody coming to tell you and say, oh, you're doing well, when you're actually not. So you need to be able to surround yourself by people that have been there. You need to be able to surround yourself by people that are in the same, in the same sort of position as you are, or if not in a better position, so that if they're successful in what you do, you're more inclined to be more successful as well. But I came to Australia, I think it was right about 1989. I think I was about 11 years old at the time. And I guess for us, coming from the Philippines into a foreign country, living in the countryside, I guess it was a shock, because it was a change of culture. And I guess from a very young age, I've always wanted to own my own business. And I knew that I couldn't work for anyone for a very long period of time, because initially I was in hospitality. I'm a qualified chef by trade, so I started when I was 16 years old, and by the time I was 26, I owned my own restaurant. And throughout that, I needed to, change industry, because I got married, I had my son, and I didn't see my son for a year, because I was the executive chef of a convention center, which I was doing about 90 hours plus a week, working 6 days. So by the time I leave home at 9 o'clock and get home at probably 1:30 in the morning, if not 2:30 in the morning, obviously there's not much time left but to sleep and to prepare for the next day. So what I wanted to do was, obviously the closest thing that was good with the skills that I had was to basically become a trainer and assessor in the fields that I worked at in hospitality. So I guess I've done a lot of studies. I've got my TAE, which is your training and assessment certificate. Also, I've always upskilled every year to ensure that I've always got the current qualifications, so that therefore I always found myself employable. And I guess I started off as a trainer and assessor. Within the first year, I got promoted to a coordinator. I got about 3 promotions in the same year. Became a coordinator. From then on, I guess, became a consultant through a mentor. And from the first consulting job, I got offered a partnership into a private training organization, which was a good platform for me to basically step into vocational training and education. And I guess after probably about 12 years, I've owned 3 different training organizations since then. And what I wanted to do with Bespoke Consultancy is utilize those, I guess, personally for me, is I want to be able to assist business owners, people that want to have their own business. I want to be able to assist them in just understanding what it takes to own a business. Because I remember when I was younger, my very first business, I thought, yep, great, I'll go to the bank, borrow the money, start my own business, and I'm going to be very successful. And unfortunately, the world doesn't work in that way.